Welcome back to the Who's Yanks, where we talk everything Canada soccer and U.S. soccer. Tonight we're going to be closing off this four-part series, so it ended up being 4 videos long, 20-minute segments, but this one's going to be definitely shorter than 20 minutes because we don't have a lot to talk about here. But with that, this is going to be the fourth and final part of this calendar year recap, or preview, I should say, for 2022. And this just covers, from October to the World Cup. And so, before we do that, just quick announcements and reminders. As you've seen, if you haven't seen parts 1, 2, or 3, links will be in the description below. So go check those out before you see this one. That'll help you go in chronological order. And keep in mind that COVID still, the pandemic still has the potential to affect a lot of this and throw a lot of things off. So we still got to keep an eye out for that. And we are, as I already said, this is not going to be 20 minutes long. I know it, so we're going to try and get everything in this one since we don't have a lot to talk about. So right away, we're going to a TBD date in October 2022, so later this year. We have the NWSL Playoffs, so for the women's soccer, that's when they begin to wrap their thing up, just like last time we covered the MLS Playoffs, so the men's were wrapping their stuff off as well, but here the women's, they're also wrapping theirs as well, so Canadian and American women's national teams, this is important to keep an eye on, as a lot of as players from both countries will be wrapping up their season, trying to lead their team to victory to the NWSL Cup. So we got to keep an eye on that, especially for the women, and they'll probably use this as prep too for getting ready for their rebuilding team, or whether it be for World Cup qualifying for the women's in 2023, wherever it is. You know they're going to be playing hard for it, so we got to keep an eye on that for it. And then, not much to say for the NWSL Playoffs sites. If you want to watch it, feel free to, especially if you want to learn more about both American and Canadian women's teams and their players. Definitely keep an eye on that date. So, but we can't mark it down yet because it's TBD, but just keep an open eye out for it. And then November 5th, 2022, we have the MLS Cup Final, so the day that will be decided. And obvious, as I said in the last few videos, MLS season is being pushed up a month early due to the all-important Qatar World Cup. And but yeah, this one's going to be wrapping up in early November between hopefully Toronto FC's in there. But we have an MLS Cup Final, and this will be taking place to see who will get the Philip Anschwitz Trophy, and will also earn a spot to 2023, which will be the new edition of the Scotiabank CONCACAF Champions League, which I'll probably make a video on that, whether it be a sub-special or a different one. I'll have to see, just like with the revamped Leagues Cup. So stay tuned for that. But November 5th, 2022, later this year, we will have an MLS Cup Final. So hopefully your team is in there, and best of luck in the playoffs. And then mid-November TBD, we have, I'm going to go out of order here because World Cup would start around here, but I'm going to save the World Cup for last because it's so important, and I want to end off on that. But mid-November, we have the TBD NCAA Division I tournament selection shows for both the men and the women for American collegiate soccer players. So this is going to be interesting. This is really important to the American context of soccer, as most of your, they're coming out of college, but we've seen some college people come out, play for the club, and then make the move over to Europe. So many people don't like this, at all. I mean, it's definitely different than Europe and anywhere else in the world, as you have to go to school and then play, and then you can't go directly into the pros. So it is a little bit different, but hey, it's still part of the U.S. development system technically. But I mean, I count it as that, since they're pumping out players that can later benefit other clubs. But for both men and women, technically, but you have that in mid-November. It's TBD, NCAA Division I player selections from the collegiate at the collegiate level in American soccer. And then in December, we have TBD 2022 NCAA Men's and Women's College Soccer Cup. So the selection show was to show whose schools will get in to compete in the NCAA tournament, kind of like if you haven't seen the NCAA basketball tournament, it's going to be ran the same way. I need some water. But it's going to be ran the same way. It's right behind me. Same way as that. But so by then in December TBD, you'll know what schools got in or which schools are playing in the American context of it. But I guess if you're interested in just looking out for players, I guess specifically try and look for American players, as that's another thing that I've heard too, is a lot of the players in the collegiate level are not even American. They're from other countries, which, looking at the MLS draft, that it does seem true. So, I mean, which I'll see that tomorrow. By the way, you can tune into that on YouTube. It's 3 p.m. Eastern Time on MLSsoccer.com. So you can tune in there, and that's exactly what the draft is going to be. It's going to be seeing which MLS teams want who out of the collegiate level for the U.S. So, and as I said, most of the people that come out of the collegiate system are from other countries, but hey, I mean, if they get to get chosen to MLS and eventually try and work their way to go across the pond to Europe or elsewhere, I mean, that's fascinating still for me to watch, because I get to see people develop and just grow over time. So that's what's important about the NCAA tournament for both men and women. So the women, of course, will get selected to the NWSL, but got a lot of Canadians too that are in the American collegiate system, which is also nice to see. So kudos to them, and hope they continue to thrive down there. Like one Canadian soccer player, women, is at the University of Michigan soccer team. So and she's fun to watch, and she actually did pretty well in these last Summer Olympics. So keep an eye on those kind of players for both American and Canadian, men and women, as eventually they're gonna go pro should they get selected. And if they're American, I mean, or Canadian, yeah, keep extra eyes on them, because you never know where they might go after that. So that's that. And then finally, last but definitely not least, the biggest event of the year, it's FIFA 2022's World Cup in Qatar, from November 21st through December 18th, 2022. So now this year, as you might not know, if you might just see the timing of this, it's being held at the end of the year rather than the summer. And this is due to Qatar being so hot in summer that it would have been possibly unplayable at that point. So they have to do it in the fall or late fall to the winter, because the weather will be more tolerable by then. So if you're seeing the dates, I'm not reading them wrong, and nor are you seeing them wrong. That's just how the World Cup dates are going to happen. So it will happen from late November to mid to late December. Once again, hopefully both the U.S. and Canada are in there, and I'm just literally looking forward to this. As you guys know, the World Cup is arguably the event of on the planet, the biggest planet on the planet. So, I mean, you can't get any better playing stage than that. That's as big as it gets. It's for a football player or a soccer player. So, I mean, it's always going to be fun to watch. It's just, it does suck for me, because the time it's going to be taking place is going to be during a school year. So, and plus, you got to think about the time zones that it's going to be happening. Some of the games might be unwatchable due to them happening at 4 or 5 in the morning, so you just have to wake up and watch the highlights, which means that reaction videos will probably happen whenever I get a chance to. So that's the downside about the World Cup happening during this time. So, but I'll hopefully still be able to do my best later this year to give those videos out to you guys. U.S. and Canada videos, I don't know if I'll be reacting to every single country's game, because that'll be a lot. So just U.S. and Canada, just to keep it on theme, on pace with the channel. If they're there, hopefully they will be there. So fingers crossed, and we just got to make sure they take care of business during this window later this month and in March's window. So keep an eye out there for them. And yeah, for that, I mean, the World Cup, the biggest event of the year, is on its way. It's going to be here before we know it. So, yeah, pay close attention and get ready for it. And so, with that, I'm excited for it, and that pretty much wraps up the video. If you like these dates, make sure you like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about it. we finally got through all the dates. So 4-parter video here, and this one's obviously going to be half the length on average about the normal videos, about 10 minutes. So finally got through that, and boy, that was a lot of dates to read. And hey, I mean, that's a lot of content and a lot of soccer, which is for you guys. So it's gonna be great to enjoy. So if you like this video, as I said, share it, tell all your friends about it, like it, subscribe, and then also tell all your friends the World Cup is on its way, and it's gonna be here very, very soon.